The Sunshine Coast Association for Community Living was incorporated in 1958. It was a grassroots organization formed around the coffee tables of families of people with disabilities on the Sunshine Coast. Originally, there was no residential support. There was an achievement center that was opened in the late 60s in Gibsons and provided employment for many of the participants. This was largely carpentry based. For instance, there was stakes made on bandsaws for surveyors. In approximately 1990, the MLA managed to get a Go BC grant to buy the offices at 105-5711 Mermaid Street. That was the first building that Skakel owned.
Fairview was definitely part of Skakel, but it was very young. That we'd only just been unionised before I started. I decided with a co-worker that we would go and get our registered carriage certificates. And while I was doing that, I picked up a few nights at Medusa. And I think Glenn had come on board by then, and he was strongly urging me to pick up more work with Skakel.
We have 3 staffed resources, one of which is dedicated to people who have very involved disabilities. Mobility issues, tube feeding, they require bathing, feeding, and complete care. When I first became the executive director of Skakel, our annual revenue was just under $500,000 a year. We had a variety of life skills contracts and 1 staffed residence. Our annual revenue is currently just south of $5 million, and we have 3 staffed residences, 4 independent living suites, and a commercial property that we own on Cowrie Street where Blue Magnolia is currently one of our anchor tenants, and one of the people we serve lives upstairs in an apartment. 5 years ago, we were invited to participate in the inception of Persephone Brewing Company Incorporated, and through a company called Persephone Farms Limited, we invested $80,000 or 5% of the initial capital to become full shareholders in Persephone Brewing Incorporated. Some of our people are involved in the farm side of the equation, raising chickens for eggs, working in the gardens, and also in the tasting room during the peak months of sales. At this point, we serve approximately 70 people, although the demand is increasing on an annual basis, some of which is because people are actually moving to the Sunshine Coast to provide their children with our services. Currently, we employ approximately 60 people. The board and myself have managed to acquire enough money that we're able to do some entrepreneurial activity that is unusual for a nonprofit society. I'm hopeful that this impetus will continue, where we will separate ourselves from the herd, be creative, entrepreneurial, and responsive to the people that live on the Sunshine Coast with developmental disabilities, and that includes children and adults.
So the day services at Fairview were very limited because the ladies were already old. You know, they'd spent many years in the institution. So they didn't really want to, have a little job. It was very difficult to even, they had to go out one at a time with you and go for a little drive. It was very hard to get them to go for a walk even. Oh, Bob's fully supporting the guys to get them out. We had a day program running, good old Arlene. Anybody that remembers Arlene was phenomenal. She was just, you know, worker like myself, and put together an incredible day program that was go all day. The guys were a lot younger back then too.
96, 97, I came. I got interviewed and all the good stuff, and I like doing work here. Also, I can't be lazy, so I did a lot of work here. It's good to get along with friends. It's good to help other roommates. I've been helping Brian out with some chores. I did a lot of stuff at Thornstone.
Before I lived in Medusa, I lived there 20 years. Well, first pack all my things, and my things was a moving truck. It's a long drive for me. Before I moved here, was my friends, like fishing with my staff. I do it in my own life, take care of myself, and behave myself. I like being my life.
You know, the coast, of course, is not just about staffing. Like, the coast has grown in leaps and bounds. So we've had some great staff here, but they generally, you know, they might move on, right? People tended to do that. I think now the coast has gotten so much bigger, maybe people are staying a bit longer, I don't know. Training is really good. There's lots of trainings to be offered, and you can always ask the staff. You're very supported with your education, I think. I've had the opportunity to learn a lot from these guys. Yeah, and you know, yeah, I mean, I started in this field knowing nothing. It's fun. It feels like I've left my home and come to my other home. Always. I've never felt like I'm going to work. It's been a great job. It's been a really fun job.
In conclusion, it's my heartfelt hope that everybody associated with SCACL will continue to pursue the vision of full citizenship for people with developmental disabilities. I'd like to acknowledge some people that have gone before, in particular Gray Waddell, our dearly departed friend who served so ably as president for many years, and the current board and all the boards that have served before them. It's been a real honor for me and a privilege and a blessing to have been able to attempt to provide leadership to this organization.